Shrink's back in the house. Happy Sunday to everybody. You know who you are. For those who hate me and those who love me, I love you all. It's just a better way to live. But anyways, sometimes it's hard to be inspired to come up with a topic, especially when nothing is provided for me. I can't say nothing is provided because some of you guys come up with some really good ideas for a video, and that's what's happened here. And once again, thanks for everyone who actually supports the channel. Really supports it by sending the odd super thanks, because that keeps me motivated. I know that there's a lot of people that never want me to quit. So this is the way that, a few bucks here and there helps me. It's not that I need money. It's a form of motivation for me so that people are showing the love, because doing this, giving back the way I do, it's all I can do with the knowledge I've gained after 30 years. The only way to get out of this bullshit chasing audio equipment is to help others not do it. So when they don't need to, they can come to a place much quicker than it took me. And it's a wonderful feeling, right? So anyway, thanks for dragging it there. You came up with a word, wireless. Well, that's something I really haven't covered, and in my opinion, the word wireless, it's almost false advertising, guys. Wireless means zero wires. And I'm sorry, guys, technology has not come that far where you're going to have beautiful sound, no glitches, no breakups. No, it just isn't. I always feel very content to plug that trusty old internet cable into whatever device it is. So right there, it's not wireless. I've had wireless speakers, I've had active speakers, they all have cables, guys. And there's even more with active speakers. You got two power cables you gotta hide. I hide them. As you can see, my setup, guys, if you look there, where are the wires? You can't even see the wires from the turntable, power supply. The speaker cables are nicely tucked. That's just the way I am. I'm not going to have a really nice rig and have a bunch of ugly wires all over the place. So, as I say, when I first got into streaming, there was a way to do Wi-Fi streaming and all that stuff, but it always failed. It doesn't matter if it was 1 in 1,000 times. It would drive me nuts. So I just always plug in the trusty network. It's a feeling of security that I have a stable connection. And when it comes to these wireless speakers and the CAFs sure, they're very handy in their lifestyle system, but don't think to yourself that they're wireless, because you're going to have to hide a whole bunch of wires. You're going to have to hide, unless you want to look at them, because I sure don't. 2 power cables, Ethernet cable, possible source cables. Is the sound good from the devices? They were. It was very good, but there's just no such thing as wireless in my opinion. I have always plugged in an Ethernet cable to whatever device stated it was wireless, okay? Like the high-end streamers, always an Ethernet. Never had any success with Wi-Fi. Wait a minute. One of the godfathers of digital audio and streaming is no other than Sonos. Yeah, they don't have $10,000, $15,000 streamers, but they were one of the first to do this, guys. Network streaming, and I found out that by mistake that I was actually playing with I owned the latest integrated by Sonos. It's just a black box called Sonos Amp, I think is the name. It's a really nice little device. But, I always plug in Ethernet no matter what. And I was listening to that thing for a while, and I guess I was up walking around looking in behind, and I had the Ethernet plugged into the device. I didn't have it plugged into the wall, and I was wondering, holy cow, I've had this playing for 2 weeks without a single incident, a single dropout. It sounded great. So even that, though, guys, even though it was flawless in wireless mode and streaming through Wi-Fi, I still wanted to plug it in to Ethernet, right? So whatever, Bluetooth I've had really good. Obviously that's wireless, and I've had some good experiences with it, and it's actually come a long way with its latest renditions of the software. It sounds pretty darn good. It's just not my way of listening, but as I say, when you see the word wireless that I see so many times on these low-end, high-end, mid-fi products, it's just not the case. They aren't wireless. So I'll repeat it. I always plug in the Ethernet, stream through the network, do the updates through the network. I just don't know if ever will technology get to a place where it's actually absolutely glitch free without being directly connected to the network. So if any of you are out there doing that and wondering why you're having these issues with these so-called wireless devices, just plug it in and be done with it, man. Plug in the Ethernet. They should have an app to go along with their device, or I'd stay away from it as well. Good old software. I've covered that in prior videos. It's just as good as the sound and just as important as the sound. And so is the aesthetic, guys. I don't want a rat's nest of cables behind me. It's so clean, this installation. No one can deny it, right? Like, there's just nothing. There's not, of course I blacked out the bottom of the rack, but you can see how clean that is, right? Why not? Why not have a beautiful aesthetic? You know, if you have company over, it looks like everything's floating in space, you know? It requires a little bit of work and zap strapping, and that's all I do. I just zap strap to the rails of the racks, right? To the sides. Really clean, and you can't even see the Heagle phono stage wiring. You may have to black out the back of your rack, but anyways, the word wireless I don't agree with. There's still going to be wires that you got to deal with. You still want to have a stable connection. So, you know, if Bluetooth's your thing, then you may be wireless, but and it actually sounds pretty darn good. So anyways, I gotta give a shout out to my guys and my people that follow me. You know, they're very generous, they're very polite, respectful on the comments. There's next to zero trash getting said on my videos. I'm very impressed by that. You know, it's showing a sign of respect to me and what I'm doing, right? I've seen some of these channels that every single comment is negative. Why would you bother doing that? Or if you're just not getting views at all. After 4 or 5 years banging, I don't understand why people continue to do that. I'm getting enough, you know, financial support and views to satisfy me, because I have a life and I have a beautiful business that I built, like I say before. This is just something I'm doing on the side to help people, or just to entertain them for that matter. They may not already know this information. And usually you do when you've been at it long enough. And when you actually give in that technology will improve audio. How can it not? You know, these people that call them the purists and stuff like that. Well, you'll just be left in the dust, because there is technology out there right now, like the Bel Canto, that'll just blow your mind. Blow your mind, save you a lot of money, simplicity, these kinds of things. So anyway, happy Sunday. Thanks for that suggestion of a topic, because I feel it's important. In my opinion, hey, I've had great experience with active speakers as well, but they required a lot of wires and a lot of other stuff. Did it simplify the system? Somewhat, but again, you're locked into that signature with the two devices, either the preamp to drive the actives or the amplification that are built in the speakers themselves. But I liked them. I had the, what were they? The ELACs. The ELAC actives. You all know what they are. I liked them. They were nice. But I prefer to power my speakers. But yeah, wireless or not wireless. Wireless all the way. Wired for me all the way. Not wireless. Take care. Have a great weekend. Love y'all. If you want to give back, honestly, guys, the super thanks is right there. You buy the shrink of coffee on the weekend. It makes me feel like you're giving back to me. So thanks so much.